Greetings and salutations, everyone. I hope everyone is doing well today. Today I have a subscriber and fellow researcher who goes by the name of B. Moss. She has been interested in cryptozoology for a long time, and she's had quite a few sightings and one encounter. Before we get into her upload or her encounter, a couple of links. As you know, I rely on my Patreon, my PayPal, and my merch to help this channel to continue to grow and go. All of those links are in the description below. I also have a second channel for creepypasta, fan fiction, scary voice acting, stories that don't really fit on this channel. Now, if that's anything that you're into, follow that link, give those stories a listen. You may just like what you hear. Last but not least, Dogman Frightening Encounters Volume 1 and 2 are available on Amazon, Audible, and iTunes. Written by Tom Lyons, narrated and produced by me, Jeffrey Nadolny. The link to those books are in the description as well. Also, the link to B. Moss's Facebook page is in the description. Now, I've taken enough of your time. Let's get on with today's upload. Shall we? All right, everybody. Tonight I have a special guest. She is a subscriber, and she also has her own Facebook page. A lot of you may know her and support her. B. Moss. She interviews people and talks about their encounters. She also has an encounter and some sightings that she's going to share with us. And I'm very excited to have you on. Thank you for coming on tonight.
Thanks, Jeff. Thanks for having me.
No, it's my privilege, believe me. I feel honored. So, you have a Facebook live stream that you do. Before we get into your encounter, tell us a little bit about that.
Well, I just recently started my own Facebook group within the last three weeks to a month or so. It's called Crypto Normal Encounters with B. Moss, and I've done, so far since I've started the group, I've started my own live stream. I've only done one interview so far on the Facebook platform, but I've co-hosted on another YouTube channel prior to this. So I have actually done other interviews, but now it's just I'm getting ready to get started, and I have a lot of guests as we speak lined up to tell their Dogman and cryptid encounters, and I'm also going to be sharing people's paranormal encounters as well as aliens. And so that's why I gave it the name Crypto Normal Encounters, because I want to kind of give everybody a voice where they can come on the show and be able to just share any kind of encounters that they have or that they want to talk about.
Yeah, it's really going to be a good platform, I feel. The link to her Facebook live stream page will be in the description below. Also, she's going to be interviewing me on New Year's Eve. So make sure you guys go over and give her some support, please. Now, you've been a subscriber with me for a while, so you know how I do my business. I'm going to give you the floor, and please share your encounter with us and some of your sightings.
Okay. Well, my name is B. Moss, and if there's any of you out there who are members of my group, then you already know who I am, or if you were with me when I did co-hosting on True Encounters, then you also know that I'm familiar with Dogman, Bigfoot, cryptids. I've been familiar with cryptids and Bigfoot and Dogman and all that kind of stuff ever since I was a child as far as Bigfoot was concerned. But I didn't have an interest in it until probably somewhere around 2012, 2011. I started hearing shows on Dogman Encounters and Brenton Solwin's channel. And I'd always heard of those stories about, Dogman and stuff like that. But I believed it. I just never thought that I would have my own encounter. So like most weekends, in hunting season, I guess that starts in October all the way up to like January or February each year, I would go to my parents' house to visit. I lived in Huntsville at the time, and my parents lived about a 45-minute drive away from where I lived. But in hunting season, I would go visit them because my husband at the time, he would often be hunting, and sometimes he'd be gone for days. And I just took that as the perfect time to go visit my family, like I would every other weekend. So it was nothing brand new. I always went over there to visit. I would take, a pack of clothes with me just so I could be there for a few days until hunting was over with. So one particular weekend, and I remember this is around 2013, and it was in the month of November. One particular weekend, I drove up to their house, and the way that their driveway is situated is their driveway is it's on an incline from the side of the house, and it's covered with like a lattice carport. So there's only 2 spots to park underneath the carport. Well, there's a little side part also, but my dad's truck would always be parked off to where that extra area of concrete would be. So there was no space for me to park in the driveway. I always parked down on the street level, like right beneath this oak tree. And basically the way you come into the neighborhood, the way you come in is like almost like a dead end, like when you come into where the way I'm parking on their sidewalk, looking straight ahead towards the woods. So I pull up under and park under the tree like I would any other time. And when I parked, I did not get out right away. I had not turned my car off yet. The car was still on. The headlights were still on. And I was just fidgeting and fumbling around in my car, looking for stuff. A lot of times I have this habit of trying to gather some of my things from inside of the car before I get out. Because since I'd heard a lot of Dogman stories and things like that, I had just kind of gotten to a point where I was a little bit afraid of the dark or what lurks in the dark. So I just basically would gather what I could in my hands, like before I got out of the car. So I'm looking ahead. After I get through fumbling in my purse, I'm looking ahead, and what I didn't say was that at that dead end where my car is facing that way, there's a wood line that leads into the woods. I'm looking straight ahead. The headlights are still on, and I just remember looking and kind of squinting my eyes, and I remember thinking, I know that's not what I think it is. So, your mind's telling you, you're just tripping, you believe in this stuff, so you're making yourself see a Dogman, and that's really not what you're seeing. So I'm still in the car, I hadn't cut it off, the headlights are still on, so I turn on the high beams. When I turned on the high beams, I was like shocked, and I could not believe my eyes. My mouth dropped open. I could not believe that I was actually looking at a real live flesh and blood Dogman standing right before my very eyes. I just couldn't believe it. I know that they existed because I believe the people that were telling their encounters. I just never thought I would see one for myself. Now, I'm looking. I had like tears welling down my eyes, rolling down my face, because I'm looking like I cannot believe this, and I'm in shock, and I'm like, when you think about a Dogman, it's still the whole thought that you've always seen on movies, like the thought werewolf comes to your mind, and I'm like, I can't believe I'm looking at a werewolf right now. It was tall. If I had to give you a height, I would say it was anywhere from 8.5 to 9 feet tall, jet black, and very muscular, very muscular. When I seen this particular Dogman, it was getting ready to head down this trail that leads into the into the woods. So it had its back to me to begin with initially. When I first seen it, it had its back to me. When I put the high beams on it, that's when it turned. It didn't make a full turn like facing me. It turned at the waist and kind of looked back. It turned kind of at the waist and kind of looked back at me, like almost halfway over its shoulder, but it was turned just a little bit more than that. It was very muscular. The body was like a bodybuilder's body, I guess, on the upper body, the arms, the pec, the abs. I mean, but I can't tell you how long the arms were because I was focused on its eyes. Because when I put those high beams on it, this particular Dogman turned, and when it looked at me and looked straight back at me, it's not like how you put high beams on a dog or something like that, and maybe they'll look back at the car, and it's looking at the car. This was different. It's like it looked back at the car through the windshield and directly into my eyes, like it knew that it was looking for the driver of the car, the person who cut the high beams on. And it just stared at me for probably, I don't know, maybe 8 to 10 seconds. Now, the thing that got me about the eyes was that I knew already from most encounters that I've heard, most people talk about the amber-colored eyes. And the eye color that I seen was not amber-colored. It was like a really brilliant, it's like the most beautiful blue that I can possibly think of. I don't know to say aqua blue. That's probably not even going to do it justice, but they were luminescent. So if you can just picture a really beautiful ocean blue or maybe an aqua blue, and then put like a flashlight or nightlight inside of those eyes, like glowing. It was like that. That's what the eyes looked like. They were beautiful.
Wow.
But I didn't feel threatened. All this whole time, I'm still sitting in the car. In the driver's seat, it's looking at me. I'm looking at it. It looked at me casually, sitting there in the car. And I forgot, I didn't tell y'all like the time it was at night. This was at nighttime. This was about 8 or 10 o'clock. This is in the fall. It was in November, so it was really dark out there already. So when it turned and looked back at me, I didn't have time to have fear because I was still in awe and shocked about what I was looking at. So I didn't really even think about being fearful until it was almost over with. It turned, looked at me, and it kind of just had this casual look on its face. It stared at me for 8 to 10 seconds. And the look it gave was kind of like, oh, it's just you, no big deal. Because after it done that, it turned around and casually walked, not ran, walked on its original, I guess its original path where it was going in the first place. It was getting ready to head down that trail. When I seen this Dogman, I seen his full body. It was not peeking out from behind trees. It wasn't obscured by anything. It was dark out there, and this Dogman was darker than the darkness, but I caught it because I put it in its high beam. So it was basically in my line of view. So I can't tell you if it had a tail or not. I really wasn't paying much attention to that. And when I tell you, like, it never was on all fours when I seen the Dogman. From the moment I saw it to begin with, it was already on both feet. When it walked off into the distance, it was still on 2 feet. So I never did see it on all fours.
Wow. So, really quick.
Yeah.
When he turned and looked at you, and his eyes are blue, you felt like no fear at all, right?
None.
Just like an astonishment or like awe.
Awe, yeah. The eyes were beautiful. I mean, I know I should have been afraid, but I was so shocked at what I was seeing. Maybe I would have been more afraid if I had. Sometimes when I would get out of the car, it wasn't always my habit, but sometimes it was a habit to get. If I had a lot of stuff to gather, I would gather that stuff first before I got out of the car. But sometimes I would listen to these Dogman encounter stories all the time, like from the time I would go to work in the morning, lunch break, time I get off. So I had Dogman on the brain.
Right.
So that kind of stuff, plus the fact that their backyard is bordered by the woods, I got to a point where I wasn't always so readily, just willing to just get straight out of the car and then have to get my suitcase out to take all my clothes because I'm extra and I pack a lot of clothes whenever I go somewhere. Right. And I didn't want to have to get out of the car. It's dark out there and gather all that stuff up and then walk up their inclined driveway, take the key out, lock it. I didn't want to do all that because I was scared because I felt like, what if there's a Dogman back there?
Yeah.
And I'm glad that particular night, I'm glad that I did not get straight out like I would sometimes.
Yeah. I mean, you're already creeped out because you're listening to these encounters on top of your parents' area is wooded and notorious. Exactly. Alabama's notorious for encounters. So why the heck wouldn't you want to gather your stuff up and get up to the house as fast as possible?
And see, the thing about it too is that sometimes you never know. Like, my parents don't always keep their storm door unlocked, so it's been times I've pulled up over there before, and even though they know I'm coming, they just haven't really thought about it. That screen door will be locked sometimes. So that would have been a terrible night for that.
Right.
That would have been a terrible night for that.
Absolutely.
Because basically, where I was parked at, Jeff, under that tree, I'm not good at distance, so I can't tell you how many feet away the thing was standing from me, but I know that if I would have gotten out of the car and walked over to where it was standing, I would have been over to it in about 70 or 80 steps.
Wow. So it's pretty close.
Oh, yeah. I'll send you a picture of that, too, after we get off the phone, so you can kind of get an idea of where I was parked and where it was standing.
Yeah. Another thing that we're going to kind of discuss a little bit, too, is you have pictures. Now, those pictures, they're posted on your Facebook page as well?
They are, but when I created the page last month, since that time, like, I put so many pictures on there, so anybody looking for those pictures would probably have to scroll all the way down to the bottom to look for those pictures. Okay. So what I will do is probably, I think you can actually go to the pictures on the page just by clicking on photos. But what I can do, like, after you put it out there, after you upload this video, I will just go ahead and re-upload those pictures again for people to see exactly what I'm talking about and see some of the pictures of these dogmen, because, like I said, a lot of people just don't want to share or not willing to share, or a lot of time pictures that people have of dogman or any cryptid, they're usually blurry and pixelated and just not good quality, and that's just the way it is. You can't help it. I think that the creatures have the ability to cause that. Yeah,
we were talking about that last night when you, myself, and Roy were on the phone, and we were talking about how pictures, they come out all messed up, and, we started talking about the infrasound, and I said that, our body is pretty much like a living electric transformer and magnetic, and, these things can mess our body up. People who get affected by the infrasound get really sick. Why wouldn't they mess up a actual electronic object? I mean, it's just science, I mean, so it's probably one of the bigger reasons why a lot of pictures don't come out crystal clear. I mean, everyone would love to have a crystal clear picture, but yours, there's one that I want to talk about in particular. And it's the one that you have it in a collage, and it's looking straight at you. And then on the one side, it actually turned its head. And
exactly.
That picture blew me away, and it gave me the creeps looking at it. You want to tell us a little bit about that picture and how that picture got to come to be?
That picture, that particular dogman, I always called that the German Shepherd head dogman. So, usually, like, once I knew that one was back there, after that moment, I started deciding, you know what, people talk about these dogmen all the time. People have questions why they don't always see them. Where are they when you don't see them? And I got to start thinking about it, and I'm like, a lot of the times when people have encounters, they're always around trees. They're hiding around trees or peeking out from behind them, or they're up in a tree. So I decided at that moment that I was going to start taking pictures after that happened. So I would often go outside. My parents, like, under that carport I was telling you about, they had like this huge tote or big chest or toy box or whatever you want to call it. And I would go out there. I'm a smoker. I would go out there and sit, like, right there on the side of the house, like sitting on that tote looking back towards the woods. And I would go out there and smoke, and sometimes I would just enjoy nature. So I would sit out there anywhere from 30 minutes to an hour sometimes, just smoking, relaxing, enjoying nature, looking out at the woods. And I started taking pictures because I felt like at some point I'm going to catch something on camera. Sometimes I would take pictures and I didn't see anything at all until after I went back and looked at the photos. But sometimes I would see something and it just didn't look quite right. It looked like something was off, or there was a darkness in between those leaves of the trees or something like that that just seemed out of place with everything else based on the color and based on everything else that was there. It just seemed like it was off. On the particular picture that you're referring to, I was out there that day smoking and looking out, and I seen that not just on the picture, but I seen it with my own naked eyes first. And when I seen it, I was like, let me take a picture of this so I can get a better look at it. Because what a lot of people don't realize is that sometimes these dogmen have the ability to morph. They have the ability to morph, they have the ability to cloak, and you can see part of the body sometimes, or the head sometimes on these creatures, and then you're looking, like if you see the head and then there's like an opening in the trees, and it's like, okay, well, where's the rest of the body? The body should be right below that. And I've talked to a lot of other people about this as well and asked them, and they've also kind of confirmed, yeah, I have experienced that. So some people have experienced that with them. That particular day, I seen that one standing there watching me. And it actually, for the whole 30 to 45 minutes that I was standing there recording it or watching it, it was watching me. So what I started doing was taking a succession of pictures, because I knew at some point, the longer I was there, I knew at some point it was going to shift its position. Its head was going to move. Its eyes were going to close. Something was going to change with that picture. Picture that you're talking about, Jeff. When I share those, I'm going to share the pictures to Jeff's page as well, so you guys can see what we're talking about. We'll call that picture number 1.
Okay. And that, with your permission, that'll be the picture I use for the thumbnail of this video. That way people can kind of look at it while we're talking about it right now. All right?
Okay. Yes.
Okay. All right.
That's picture number 1.
Because in that picture, guys, you can see if you're looking at the picture, it'd be the right-hand side where it's looking straight at you. You can see a crest of like silver where it's on its face, and its snout is a lighter color. And then when it turns, you can clearly see it's turned its face, and it's looking, if you're looking at the picture, it'd be looking left. And it's just an amazing picture.
And it's really clear. Now, when y'all look at it, the head looks more like, I guess, like German Shepherd or Anubis type head. Mm-hmm. When you'll see it, you can see I guess it would be its left eye, but if you're looking at the picture straight on, it's going to be on the right side. So you can see the left eye, which is on the right side when you're looking at it straight on the picture. You can see the snout, you can see the tip of its nose, and you can see both ears on top of its head. So when y'all see this thumbnail, and when y'all see the picture that Jeff is going to have on the screen, just look. Notice the picture on the left it's looking more straight on, broadside, so its nose and snout look a lot broader than the picture on the right, which is a collage I put side by side for comparison. The one on the right, its face is shifted at an angle, and I did that so that you could see movement, because I figured at some point if I kept taking a bunch of them back to back, I'm going to catch it moving, and I did.
Now, when you were watching him, was there any noise, like anything at all that you heard?
No. Not at all.
Okay.
I didn't hear anything. But I just, it stayed there for a long time. It was a different time. Now, that I also have a video for that. And I don't know if I can share that, I'll try to share it. But I don't know if I'll be able to. I know the video is like 11 minutes long. Unless I try to shorten the video and edit it, then maybe I can share it. But there's a video for that Dogman.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Then, There's also another picture that I shared with you, and I called that one the Holy Grail Dogman. I shared that picture also on the Mysterious Huntsman channel when I did the interview with him. And that particular Dogman picture, I don't know, Jeff, hopefully you will share that one also on the page, because I want people to see how crazy this one is.
Yeah, we'll call that picture too. And that way people can go to my page, your page, and see that as well on your page too. All right?
Okay.
Does that work?
Yes, and okay. I'll call that picture number 2.
Yeah.
Okay, so on picture number 2, that one, there's 2 things going on there. And it's going to have the marks on it too, I think, because I think I shared it 3 different type of ways, but I'll just upload the extra pictures and share those to your page as well.
Is that the one with the markings, the arrow, and like the box part? Like there's one, it's on the, if you're looking at, okay, yeah. I know which picture you're talking about now.
Yes, because that box, that bar that I put on there, that was showing the height of the gray one that was standing in that tree, showing you where the head is and showing people where the feet are. Mm-hmm. Like you could see its hog legs, you could see the feet, but most people who don't know what they're looking for, a lot of the time, even though that stands out greatly, I guess maybe just because I knew it was there, but you have to point stuff out sometimes. So that one, a lot of times people say, well, I don't see what you're talking about, even with that. And I thought it stood right out. But that's, there's 2 of them in that tree. There's a gray one. It's dark gray in color. It's standing on 2 legs. It's looking off to its left side, and it has a light gray snout. You can see it from the top of its head down to its neck and upper torso area. Then it has like some leaves that go across, like from the trees. They go across its waist, and then below that, you can see the rest of its body from its waist down to its hocks and its feet. So that's the gray one that's standing on 2 feet. Yep. Higher up in that same tree, there's one that is jet black in color. You can only see the head. You can't see the full body. You can only see the head on this one. You can see its eyes open. You can see its snout, its nose, and its teeth, because it was snarling at me on this particular picture.
Now, did you hear any noise on that one, or no noise? It was just making its facial expression at you?
I didn't hear anything. The reason I took that picture was because I was out there in their backyard that day. I wasn't up there at, close to the house like I usually would be when I was taking the other pictures. Okay. I was actually in the backyard playing with my little dog that day and letting her run around and play. And she was barking, having a good time. I'm kicking the ball around, letting her play. But I'm always aware of my surroundings. I'm always thinking, every few minutes I would always look over to look at those trees. I never would just kind of get so comfortable that I wouldn't look over there.
Right.
And prior to, when we first got out there was nothing going on. That blackness, that black dogman, I did not see the black dogman. So I didn't see those features that I caught on camera. I didn't see that. I seen a jet black mass right there. And I was like, okay, that makes absolutely no sense at all. It's the blackest thing on that picture. There's nothing else. The leaves, nothing on that picture is jet black like that.
No, it really stands out. It really does stand out on that picture.
Oh, yeah. And because I'm like, okay, there's something there. That don't make no sense. I said, so let me get my camera out. And I took a picture because looking at those trees, like I said, I didn't see any facial features. I seen a jet black mass. And so I took a picture. When I did, that's when I seen all that. So when y'all see that picture, y'all, and I called that one, the whole picture I call the Holy Grail, but that particular one has a head that's real broad, about, I guess, like you would compare it to a pit bull or maybe a Rottweiler. It had a broad head, and just based on the size of that head, you can just imagine how large its body was. Right. It was massive. I don't think either one, I know for a fact the gray one wasn't the one that I had my encounter with, but the black one, I don't think it was either, because it didn't have the blue eyes. But I've heard some other people, I've heard 2 other people personally that I've talked to who are pretty well knowledgeable in this field. They've told me that the eye color, as far as these creatures are concerned, has to do with their mood. I think blue being love or peaceful. or calm. And then I guess I can't remember what they said the yellow eyes were, but I know the red eyes were anger. But so I didn't, like I said, when I seen the one that I seen during my encounter, it had blue eyes, and I didn't feel any fear or worry or stress. I probably would have felt different had I been standing outside the car, though. But after that night, and after taking all those pictures of these creatures after my initial encounter, after that time period, I wouldn't be outside anymore after dark unless I had to be, or I would have somebody else to go out there with me, or it would be a quick run out to the car and come right back in. So
yeah,
it just made me more aware of my surroundings after that. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, guys, for real, she's got a lot of pictures, and I really encourage everybody to, like I said, the link is in the description below, and go over, check out her pictures, and give her some support, because I have a really good feeling about her live stream that she's going to be doing. She's got some great ideas. We're not going to give it away here, because I want her to stay original. But I think she's on the cutting edge. She's got a really good idea, and I really like it. So, and I'll be there on Thursday. So, and
I'm excited.
Yeah, we're gonna do it. It'll be 7 o'clock Eastern time, so 6 o'clock Standard or Central, and then
Central.
Then that would be 3 o'clock Pacific time, I believe. So,
well, I'm going to go ahead and make a post about it on the page now, then, so I can give people a couple of days to be getting excited and ready and prepared for this. So
yeah, and I'll put it in my community post as well, because I think you've got a really good idea, and I really, really, I'm here to support you, and I really think it's good. So.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that so much, and I really appreciate you for having me on the show.
No worries, no worries. Is there anything that you'd like to say to everybody before we end the video?
I just want to say, y'all, be careful and be safe when you're out in the woods. Be mindful and watchful of your surroundings. When you go out in the woods, there's just a couple of things just to be careful and aware of. It's a few things that I'm not really supposed to give out as far as what to do and what not to do. Been kind of bound to secrecy on that, but basically, if you're going out in the woods, take other people out there with you. There might be some things that I'll come out with and share later on in a discreet way, but I just wanted to say to everybody, all of Jeff's subscribers and viewers, just y'all keep showing him your support, and go to my page also, Crypto Normal Encounters with B. Moss. Check it out. Check out the pictures on the page. Show some love, and thank y'all for having me, and thank y'all for listening.
Thank you so much. I'll talk to you really soon.
All right.
What a super nice person. I had a really great time talking with her. She's a very intelligent person. I like her theories on things, and I think it's very interesting because she has different theories than I do, and I like to talk to people who have different theories than me, because then by possibly combining them all together, we'll get the truth. But yeah, I mean, that's what it's all about, is accepting other people's theories, and just moving forward to try to get the truth. So, New Year's Eve, 7 o'clock Eastern time, I will be on BMOS and live stream, and BMOS and Ron will be interviewing me. I'm looking forward to it. Follow the link in the description below to check that out. All right, guys, have a great night.